So hopefully that makes sense as well. But what we also need to do is check for the file size. In fact, let's just test this out anyway. So let's go back to our page, click choose file. I'm going to choose this coconut.png, click upload. Nothing's happened. The reason nothing's happened is because in fact we need to print our errors here. Let's just go and re-upload that. Upload. Okay, so we've printed out the errors array, and so far it contains nothing, because what we haven't done is we haven't uploaded a file that doesn't adhere to our extension list. So let's go ahead and choose a PHP file. Now what's going to happen, we're going to take this PHP here and we're actually comparing it to all the values here. So now what's going to happen is it is not going to return false, so it means that an array, the file extension isn't allowed. So let's go ahead and choose that file. We've already done that, and click upload, and you can see that we've got a key of 0 and extension not allowed. So we can check this array later on to see if it contains any information. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to create another check, and this is going to be to do with the file size. So this is pretty simple. We've already grabbed the file size from our file, so what we can do is we can say if file underscore size is greater than, and we need that byte representation of a megabyte, or that the bytes in a megabyte. So I'm just copying this from Google and I'm pasting it into here, making sure I remove all the white space. So if the file size is greater than 2 megabytes, then we need to say errors. Again, we're appending another element onto our array, and we're just going to say file size must be under 2 megabytes. In actual fact, it could equal exactly 2 megabytes, but I'm just going to leave that for now. Okay. So now what we can do is go ahead and test this again. Let's just get rid of Google. We have chosen chose file.php before, which returned extension not allowed. If we choose coconut.png and we upload, none of these conditions here have returned an element of the array or put an element into the array. So now we can choose this berlin.jpg, which is 2 something megabytes. It's over 2 megabytes, 2.31 megabytes. When we upload, you can see file size must be under 2 megabytes. So what's going to happen is, if we have a file that is over 2 megabytes and is a PHP extension, then we will put both of these elements into the array. So let's go ahead and just change that to .php. Okay, so it doesn't make sense now because it's an image and you know it's a PHP, but this is just to demonstrate the file extension and the file size. So if I choose to upload that, you can now see that we've got 2 errors up here, which is extension not allowed and file size must be under 2 megabytes. So the whole idea of using this errors array is that you can echo out the errors as a whole rather than individually. So let's just go back and change this to a JPG extension. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is actually check whether the array is empty, and if the array is empty, we've passed both of these checks. So we come down, we can get rid of print r, if, not in capitals, if empty, so we're using this empty here, and then in brackets the array that you want to check is empty. This is essentially going to check if there are no elements in the array. So if empty, we can upload file here, otherwise we want to use a for each loop to loop through our errors. So if the array is empty, we upload our file. Otherwise, I'm going to say for each errors. Remember, this is our errors array as error. Now what this is doing is it's taking the errors array, and for each element we're looping, and we're going to call each element error. So we can say echo error, and then we can append on a break. Okay, or comma, because that would be faster. Okay, so for each errors as error, echo error. Okay, so now that's going to echo each error and a break. So we can go and test this now. I'm going to choose the PHP file, click upload. Oh, okay, line 24. Oh, okay, sorry, I forgot the semicolon at the end of the line. Let's refresh, choose our PHP file, click upload. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, you can see that I've said if empty error, and it should be errors because that's the name of our array. So let's go and test this out. Let's choose file.php, click upload, extension not allowed. We can then go and choose berlin.jpg, which is over 2 megabytes, click upload, and it says file size must be under 2 megabytes. So if we were to again change this berlin.jpg to berlin.php, that's again a PHP extension and over 2 megabytes. So when we choose that, we have both the errors returned. So it's a lot easier way of doing things, and it's great practice to get into, especially when you're doing something like file uploading and you need to give exact information so the user can choose another file. Okay, so let's go ahead and rename that back to JPG. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we have a folder called images, which is a subdirectory in our main directory, and this is where the images are going to be uploaded to. So at the moment we've got no images or anything in here. However, what we can do now is under upload file, we can use a function to instantly move the temporary file, as I talked about earlier, and put it into the file location that you wish. So we use move uploaded file, and this takes two parameters. The first parameter is the temporary name, so that's file tmp. Remember, we specified file tmp up here, and that's grabbing that temporary name that we showed a bit earlier on. So now what we want to do is move this to a specific location. So I'm going to move this to images / and then I'm going to use a dot to just append on the file name. So file name. Remember, the file name is the actual name of the file, so we're moving into images / for example, if I was to select coconut.png, it would be images / coconut.png. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can test it out. Let's go back to our page, click choose file. So I'm going to choose coconut.png, click upload. Nothing's happened because we haven't given an error message or a confirmation message out. However, if we go ahead and open up our images directory, you can see that coconut.png has been uploaded. Okay, so there's a couple more things that we want to do just to make this look a bit nicer and a lot easier for our users to understand what's going on. I'm going to put this move uploaded file into an if statement. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just putting this whole line that we've just written into an if statement, and all this is going to do is it's going to check if this function performed correctly, and if it did, we've created a starting curly bracket and an ending curly bracket, and inside the block file uploaded. Okay, so now we can go back and we can choose another file. Let's choose file.php for demonstration, extension not allowed, this one, upload, file must be under 2 megabytes, and coconut.png, upload. The file is successfully uploaded, and as I showed earlier, it's inside our images directory as we specified. Okay, so that's how to upload images in PHP with a nice little error system, so we're displaying our errors to the user, and also the more important factor is the security.